What is up guys, Jarv here, back today jumping into Destiny 2. Now in today's video we're taking a look at mods and specifically the changes that are coming to them in Beyond Light and some of the must-have mods going into Season 12. So if you don't have a few of these, then you most definitely want to be chasing them down. Now if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a rating down below, that super helps me out here on the channel. And if you're new here, I want to keep up to date with all the latest Destiny 2 content, be sure to hit subscribe as well. But without further delay guys, let's jump into the video. Now, if you weren't aware already, as a result of last week's TWAB, there are some epic changes that are coming to mods, some of them good and unfortunately some of them bad. And with that in mind, we're placing this video as a recap on those changes, but also to highlight some of the key mods that you most definitely want to make sure that you have going into Season 12 and the sort of benefits they can provide you. Now, my good friend Truds made a very similar video just yesterday regarding mods as well. So if you haven't seen that video already, I'll leave a link to that in the video description below. And if you're interested in builds going into Beyond Light, then be sure to check out his channel as well. Again, you'll find the link to that down in the video description below. Now to kick us off today, we're going to cover off the changes coming to mods. So as a result of some of the changes come to the energy types, any arc charged with light mods are now active with their second perk if you have any other arc mod equipped either on the same armor or if you have a arc charge of light mod socketed into any other armor piece you're wearing. Now in summary, that makes a lot of the elemental mods that you have from previous seasons cheaper to use, and it means you can diversify your builds a little bit more without feeling restricted by having to pair mods together on a single armor piece. Now the big change is with raid mods, so starting in Season 12, any Last Wish, Garden of Salvation and the up and coming Deepstone Crypt raid armor will now drop with a 5th armor socket, which is exclusive for mods related to that raid. Now the 5th socket won't be added to any armor that's already been obtained from previous seasons, so if you've already got armor sets from raids, they won't have this socket at all, and you'll need to re-earn them if you want to use the mods that are relevant to them. Now this change is being made with the combatant mods in mind, and that is anti-Taken, anti-Hive and anti-Fallen mods. Now the anti-Hive and the anti-Fallen mods are going to be deprecated at the end of the current season, so they won't be usable once Beyond Light launches. However, the Taken mods will still be around, however they're going to be exclusive to the Last Wish raid and only will work inside that activity. So all in all, some good changes, but having to re-earn the armor that we've been farming all season is a little bit sour, but nevertheless this should set us nicely going into year 4. And the final mod change is with combat mods. Now for the vast majority of armor that's been acquired in Beyond Light and Season 12, it will have a new combat style mod socket. So in Season 12, this socket will accept all Charged with Light and Warmind cell mods too. Now this includes exotics as well and becomes a universal mod socket which we can use these mods on. Now it's with the universal mod socket and the 5th socket specifically in mind that we're taking a look at some of the mods that we've been able to gather over the last couple of seasons that we can still carry and will be very important going into Beyond Light. And the first one we're going to take a look at is Protective Light. Now this was available in the Season of Dawn. Now the mod description reads, while charged with light you gain significant damage resistance against combatants while your shields are destroyed. This effect consumes all stacks of charged with light, and the more stacks that you have, the longer the damage resistance lasts. And it also has a stat penalty of -10 strength. Now this mod is often seen as a perfect partner to some of the faction barrier mods. However, this is a very worthy replacement for when they get deprecated when Beyond Light launches. Now it costs only 2 void energy to use this mod, and when your shields break from enemy damage, you obtain a massive 50% reduction in all damage that you receive for varying durations of time, depending on the amounts of stacks of Charged with Light that you had at the time. So as long as you can keep up your stacks of Charged with Light, as well as regen your health and shields quickly, then you have a very powerful mod equipped which offers you excellent damage resistance, especially in those harder pieces of content. So if you haven't been running this mod already, I highly recommend that you do, so you get a look and feel on how the mod works and how to best adapt to it. And if you don't have one, then Banshee44 often sells mods from Season of Dawn and the Season of the Worthy in his inventory, so be sure to check back on a regular basis with Banshee44 to see if he has one for sale for you this week. Now the next mod on our agenda here is Powerful Friends. This is a very popular mod anyway. This one was from the Season of Dawn as well. And the description of this mod reads, when you become charged with light, nearby allies also become charged with light if they're not already. And if you're able to equip a second arc mod, which we talked about earlier in the video, that are going to be changing, then you'll also get a +20 boost to your mobility, and that is huge and is partly why this mod is so popular. Now this mod again will be of particular use, especially in end game activity. If you have multiple members of your fire team simply running this, then pretty much most, if not all of your fire team will be charged with light most of the time. And if you have protective light, or the next mod we're going to be talking about, high energy fire, then you'll either have high damage resistance or extra damage dealing capabilities as a result of just being part of a powerful friend's fire team. And once again, if you don't have one of these, Banshee 44 is the exo that you'll need to chase down to see if he has one for sale as part of his inventory. Now next up on our list is high energy fire. We mentioned it just now, but this once again was introduced with Season of Dawn, and the description of this mod reads, while you're charged with light you gain a bonus to weapon damage and each defeated combatant consumes 1 stack of charged with light. Now all in all, this mod needs very little introduction. It costs just 4 energy to equip on your armor pieces, but this is very much a go-to mod even now for Grandmaster or Deal Nightfalls. It's excellent for taking out those champions, especially if you combine this with a peerless Edge Izanagi's Burden. So if you want to be in a position to deal immense damage against any targets we may face on Europa, make sure you have one of these equipped and you'll be ready for anything we face when we land on Europa. So up until now, we've really focused on some of the best charged with light mods we have to offer currently. Now we're going to move over to some of the Warmind mods, which are underrated, underutilized, but are very powerful and will form some of the top tier builds going into Season 12. And the first one we're going to take a look at is called Power of Rasputin. So by defeating a combatant with a 7th Seraph weapon, you have a chance to drop a Warmind cell. And with that in mind, Power of Rasputin allows you to gain a bonus to weapon damage against any enemies that are near your Warmind cell. And you compare this with other Warmind cells that increase their duration, but also their radius. And once again, it's with that in mind that Warmind Protection comes to light. This was introduced again in Season of the Worthy with all the Warmind cell mods, and this one allows you to take reduced damage from enemies that are near Warmind cells. So if you pair this with the Power of Rasputin, you have a combination here that allows you to deal extra damage, but also grants you extra protection at the same time. Now, whenever dialing in to a Warmind cell build, it's not just the mods you need to factor in, it's also the weapons that you're using to create those Warmind cells. You have to bear in mind that any Ikelos weapon and any Seraph weapon will create Warmind cells for you. And whilst it's often thought that Warmind cells are generated as a result of RNG, you'll find by using the Seraph weapon that a Warmind cell will spawn every 5th kill, and it's with that in mind it allows you to play around with these Warmind cells a lot more consistently and actually factor into the benefits they provide, not just you but your fire team. So there we have it, just a handful of mods that you most definitely want to make sure you have going into Beyond Light, and will make very worthy replacement to a lot of the combatant mods that are going to be deprecated at the end of the season. If you've got any other popular mods that you use on a regular basis that you think would be worth a shout out, be sure to let me know down in the comment section below, and it may make itself into a future video. Now if you have enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a rating down below, that super helps me out here on the channel. And if you're new here and want to keep up to date with all the latest Destiny 2 content, especially in a run up to Beyond Light, then be sure to hit subscribe as well. I'm going to jump back into the game as always guys, but I will catch you all again very soon.